Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to each and every one of you. My name is Mr. J, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my updated, awesome, amazing Devastator melee build. This build took a bit of a hit with the last patch. If you guys have not seen the patch notes for the last patch, I will link a card up in the top right corner. This build did take a slight hit, but it is still absolutely amazing and can handle basically anything you throw at it. The only thing that happened is that the damage got taken down slightly. But in this, we are still able to do massive damage, we are still able to clear rooms and help our friends and do a bunch of good stuff, so it's still fantastic. But before we jump into the video, if you guys are new here, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss out on any future Outriders content. Go ahead and drop a like on the video as well because it greatly helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And go ahead and tell me what your favorite class is in the comment section down below. On top of that, I do stream Outriders all the time on my Twitch channel. Link will be in the description down below for that as well if you guys want to come and hang out and say hi over there. And now let's go ahead and jump into this frickin' build. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over is the weapons. The weapons, yet again, do not do a lot of damage. You're not going to go into this hitting for millions of damage per shot. That's not what this build is about. This build is not focused around guns. This is not meant to be some kind of FP build, not trying to convert my tons of AP into gun damage. That's not what this is going to be. This is all about your weapons just straight up buffing your ability damage. So the first thing I've got here is a Time Ripper. Let me go ahead and remove the transmog so you can actually see what this gun looks like if you're trying to farm for it. And there you go. That is what the Time Ripper actually looks like. So here I got an amazing Time Ripper that has Mage's Rage on the 3rd slot. So the reason I like the Time Ripper for this build is because it inflicts slow and it's ultimate stiffening as well, so it's only on a 1-second cooldown. This allows you to hit headshots way easier because you inflict slow on them as long as you hit them with at least one bullet. So the other mod that we're putting on here is Anomaly Enhancement. This one is actually really helpful for one of the mods we have on our armor that I'll explain in just a second. But the Time Ripper is amazing, and your secondary weapons don't really matter. I've been trying out this Evening Star that I got here with Golem Rising on there, and I put Fortress on there. I wasn't exactly happy with how this felt, because I think Mage's Rage is extremely vital still for this build. It's nothing like it used to be. Mage's Rage did get fixed because it had improper calculations for Anomaly power, so even with the Mage's Rage fix, I still feel like it's a really good one to have for a melee build, and most Anomaly power builds in general as well. So your secondary weapon, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of experiment with whatever you want. Like I have this Decadence here that I was trying out to see if I could get my random skills to cool down faster, and I put Mage's Rage on there. So you can kind of mess around with whatever you want in the 2nd slot, and same goes for your pistols. I never use pistols, so you guys can again mess around with whatever you want to put here. And so for the armor, this is where things get weird, because in the previous video, I had mentioned that the closest set bonus that we were almost achieving was the Concussioner set. I did actually manage to grab a helmet that would be amazing for this set piece. I can have the 3-piece set bonus, but unfortunately, this is no longer obtainable by the general populace after that last patch. My items didn't get changed because I had them before the patch, but if you try to farm the helmet, the chest plate, or the legs for the Concussioner set, unfortunately, they changed them to bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, close range damage, instead of the original Anomaly power, cooldown reduction, skill life leech. So they kind of, as of this moment in time, it seems like on paper, they completely murdered the entire Concussioner set bonus, and as you can see here, I have a ton of these Concussioners chest plates. I was trying to farm the absolute perfect one here with Brawl on the 3rd slot, and I never got it. But I still have all of these different versions that all have Anomaly power, cooldown reduction, skill life leech, but I have these 2 up here that are bonus firepower, cooldown reduction, close range damage, because that's what they now spawn as. So as of right now, don't think you need any legendary pieces, honestly. Like, you can go for the Concussioner's gauntlets and the boots because those will still be max health, so just go for the random pieces that I have here. Like, that's why I put back on my Ronin Zombie Gasa, is because I felt that if I was running around with a Concussioner's helmet that nobody can get anymore, that wouldn't exactly be fair to you guys. So I'm just going to put back on my Ronin Zombie Gasa and roll with that. That's what we had in the last build anyway. It works amazingly. If you can get Anomaly Echo in the 3rd slot, that's what we've got here. It also comes with Arms and Anomaly and Aura of Force. This helmet is huge for stacking just a ton of Anomaly power with activating skills or getting headshots or anything like that. The other thing is we have the same purple chest plate as before, except we don't have Despair on there anymore because of the fact that they nerfed Despair from a 2x Anomaly bonus to only a 30% Anomaly bonus, which puts it on level with mods like this. So your Anomaly damage against affected targets is increased by 30% for 6 seconds. So it's actually longer than Despair. I believe Despair is only 5 seconds, and Endless Mass for our build would actually be better anyway, for the simple fact that we can group them all together, and then when you use your melee on them, you're going to get even more resistance piercing because there's more enemies in a cluster that are closer together. You can hit more of them. It's great. So the chest plate is by all means the same as the last one. And so for the pants, we are still running Seismic Commander leg armor. We have Panzer Drain on the 3rd mod slot, so we steal a bunch of their armor back, which isn't the exact best mod, especially now that I am not going to go for the set piece for the concussioners anymore, so there's no reason to scale for armor. And we have Magma Shelter on them. So what Magma Shelter does is it changes the melee animation from the default like hands out push or whatever that you do, or the spinning, jumping, twirling one that you get from Concussive Force, to a ground pound that you just do really quickly. Just one little quick punch. It's pretty much the same animation as an Earthquake, but really fast. So Magma Shelter changes your melee animation to this ground pound that you can get super fast melees with. Like, it is awesome. So you are, with Magma Shelter, you are speeding up your melee animation, and that melee animation being shrunk down to just like a second is allowing you to get way more damage with your melee off way more consistently. So that's what's kind of boosting our melee damage up. We can hit way more frequently with our melee hits now. And the other thing that it does is it scales off of your bonus firepower. So it basically will make this explosion in a radius, and it scales off of your bonus firepower. And so to take advantage of that, what we are doing is we're putting on Anomaly enhancement, because you don't actually need to go full top tree to take advantage of this. With Anomaly enhancement, it scales off of our Anomaly power and gives us bonus firepower, and that's the way you want to go for this. So you want to go for any of those firepower increasing mods or whatever like that. You want to go for those rather than just going top tree, and you can still benefit from Magma Shelter. So like you can see here, with Magma Shelter on, I'm at 280,000 for the melee explosion, and if I go ahead and swap off my Time Ripper with Anomaly enhancement for my Evening Star, now I'm doing 0. So I'm not going top tree at all, and I'm still getting a bit of bonus damage from Magma Shelter simply because I'm scaling my firepower up based off of my Anomaly power. So now I'm at 280,000 again because I'm using Anomaly enhancement. So there you go. So for the gloves and the boots, we're still using the Concussioner's gauntlets and the boots here as well, because even though they are max health, they are still the best bet for this build. They are absolutely amazing to use for this build. Everything on them is just great. I haven't found anything that competes with it. I again will be keeping an eye out for different glove combinations, boots combinations, things like that, different mod combinations that we can use to potentially increase our Anomaly power, because again, having max health on our boots and gloves is not helping at all. We are losing out on about 35,000 Anomaly power at level 60, so 36,000 roughly, so it's kind of unfortunate, but we can't swap them off because they are absolutely perfect. So you guys can see there, our mods are just fantastic. Okay, so now for the skills. We are running Earthquake, Golem, and Endless Mass. So the only difference between this video and the last one is that we are using Endless Mass in the 3rd slot over here. You can of course put it wherever you feel comfortable putting that. So instead of Gravity Leap, we are using Endless Mass because we are no longer using Despair, because that was only really useful because it doubled your Anomaly damage. Now we're using Endless Mass because we still get the 30% Anomaly boost that Despair would give us, but it's for 1 second longer. Endless Mass also groups up the enemies, as you can see there. It kind of sucks them all in. It also will apply Bleed, so they take extra Anomaly damage from our packs tree. They also take a little bit of damage, and it applies slow within a small radius around the initial target as well. So this is just amazing to group them all together, and when they're grouped, if you run up and hit them all while they're grouped, you get even more resistance piercing because you don't have to chase them all around. They are all in a little pocket, so it's great. It's just all about clearing out the ads, getting our resistance piercing, and just a bunch of other buffs. Endless Mass is pretty dang great. And so now for the class tree, it is actually identical to the last one that we were running. So we are still trying to go through here and getting every single anomaly node down the entire tree. We are also getting the two 15% nodes for the resistance piercing here. We are also getting Paladin because in the recent patch, Paladin was actually hugely buffed. So instead of using protection skills, now it's just using skills. And something this doesn't tell you is that Paladin can stack twice. You can use 2 skills to stack up 90% anomaly power now for 10 seconds. So if you go ahead and use Earthquake and then use Golem or Endless Mass and Earthquake, whatever it is, and you can use your melee. So you can melee Earthquake and then you get that because melee is technically a skill. So Paladin is huge now. 2 skills stacking up to 90% bonus is amazing. We are also using Strong Arm the Law to double our class melee skill damage over here. We are using Protected by the Anomaly to convert our anomaly power into armor. You don't have to do this, but this adds just a little bit extra protection to the class here from bullets. We are using Skilled Sentry to increase our armor and resistance by 20% for 10 seconds whenever we end our skills. And we are using Strong Arm of the Anomaly here, which is again great with Endless Mass and great with Unstoppable Force on our boots, because what this allows you to do is you group up all the enemies onto your Endless Mass, you go up and hit them once, and you get 15% extra resistance piercing for each enemy hit for 10 seconds. So then your next melee hit will be even harder because you're going to pierce all of their resistance if they have any at all, and it'll also, resistance piercing increases your anomaly powers. So Strong Arm of the Anomaly is incredibly useful here for this build. And that's pretty much it. We're going for a couple of the health nodes and resistance nodes just to be a little bit tankier, and we are going to reduce our seismic cooldowns over here. We are reducing our seismic cooldowns even further over here so we can just keep using our earthquakes a lot more. And then over here we have Executioner, so that way we increase our damage on enemies below 30% health by 20% extra damage. So for the packs tree, we are actually using the exact same setup as before, where we're using impact points, so that way our seismic and kinetic skill damage is increased by 50% of our anomaly power, and it's all split up between all of the damaged enemies, which not super great because we're not going for like earthquake damage, but it's decent. We're getting puncture, so our seismic skills inflict bleed, which is great. And then everything that's afflicted with bleed gets 10% extra anomaly damage, so our melees hit even harder. We're going down to obliteration as well, so that way we increase our anomaly power and our resistance piercing by 10%. And then any additional enemy that you damage increases the bonus by 3% up to an additional 9% for 3 seconds. Amazing skill to have here. We're getting Earthen Shell, so that way we can just take our damage dealt with our skills and convert it into shield with a 1-second cooldown. This used to be insane. It still is. It's still great. Keep using it. It's fantastic. And then we're using Richter Rising over here, so that way the enemies that are damaged by both seismic and kinetic skills, which we are using both a seismic skill, which is Earthquake, and a kinetic skill, which is Endless Mass. Any enemy that is damaged by both of those skills within 4 seconds receive 15% more damage for 4 seconds. So an amazing setup here, just tons of extra anomaly damage. We're not actually capstoning any of this because none of the capstones really work for what we want to do here. And then the Ascension tree looks as follows. So we've got 10 points into anomaly power, 10 points into resistance piercing, 10 points in status power, 10 points into anomaly damage. We have 10 points into armor piercing, 10 into cooldown reduction, 10 points into damage against elites, and then so far 9 points into extra armor. So pretty much we don't need anything else in brutality. We don't need the skill life leech because we're practically invincible already. We don't crit at all because ability damages don't crit. We don't use magazine size, so pretty much the next thing you want to go for is endurance, just to make you extra crazy tanky. And that will go ahead and do it for today's video, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys did definitely enjoy it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way you guys can keep up to date with any future videos that I post by clicking that bell notification button as well. If you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like on it. That would mean a lot to me if you guys did do that. It helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And if you guys are new here, I do stream all the time on my Twitch channel playing Outriders and a number of other games as well. So if you guys want to come and hang out over there, I would love to see you guys over there. Come and chat and hang out. On top of that, in the description, I will leave a link to my merch store and my Patreon store. The Patreon is a great way for you guys to support my channel on a monthly basis for as little as $5 a month. You guys get some awesome incentives for the Twitch channel and for the YouTube as well. So if you guys want to go and do that, that'd be amazing. And speaking of Patreon, I would like to greatly thank the supporters of my channel as well over there, which is Spaded King and Hey Mr. Winston. You two are fantastic human beings. Thank you so much for your continued support, as well as everyone over here on the YouTube. We are doing amazing things on the YouTube and as well as on the Twitch as well. You guys are all fantastic human beings. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. And that will go ahead and do it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.